Good afternoon. Welcome to Consumer Thursdays, brought to you by the Missouri Consumer Council of Missouri, where it's a pleasure to be with you today. And of course, as always, Mr. Antonio Weston is behind the scenes as our producer, making sure that this podcast comes to you in good order. Today, we have a very exciting guest with us, Miss Sara Mendiola. Sara is in 2005 joined the state policy as a fellow with the Missouri Budget Project. She has hold a master's degree in social work and policy from nowhere else, Washington University. But she specializes in social and economic development. She's done a lot of research and analysis work throughout the state as it relates to budget and tax policies to improve the quality of life for Missouri residents. Just like the Consumer Council of Missouri, we're here to improve quality of life of residents, to keep them informed, advocate on their behalf, and in hope that we can level the playing field. Today, we're going to talk about Amendment 5. But before I do that, let me just talk just a little bit about the Missouri Budget Project, and I'm sure Sara will talk much more about what its mission is and its vision and what it does for people who work in and around the state and residents of the state. Like I said before, the main purpose is to improve the quality of life of residents that live in the state of Missouri. With that, I introduce Ms. Sara Mendiola.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Sara. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Tell us a little about the Missouri Budget Project, its history and kind of mission, and then we'll talk more about Amendment 5 itself.
Awesome. Yeah, so Missouri Budget Project, we're a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We do research and analysis on the state budget,
right,
taxes, different economic policies, to inform public policy decisions. To exactly what you said, improve the quality of life for all Missourians.
Excellent. Yeah.
Right. So we mostly do work with policymakers, with advocates, with community leaders, trying to bring voice to all of the issues that run through the budget. Everything's got to be funded, so a lot of things touch the budget.
Everything's got to be funded, yeah, significantly.
Yeah.
You know, this Amendment 5, the Missouri Amendment 5, it's a major tax overhaul from, what I've read and the descriptions I've received. And it's basically stated to eliminate income tax. And currently, from my reading, that income tax results in about 2/3 of the actual state's general revenue.
Yeah. So right now it makes up like $8.5 billion of general revenue. Yeah.
Wow, $8.5 billion.
Yes. Yeah. It's a big chunk.
I would say so. That's a huge chunk. So, in the advertisement, it basically says that it's going to put elimination of the state income tax will put about $3,000 in taxpayers' hands.
Right.
Or individual taxpayers.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
not how we see the numbers play out.
Okay.
So like I said, we do a lot of research and analysis on these budget and tax issues. And Amendment 5 is, yes, it's elimination of the income tax. It's also giving lawmakers the power to increase sales tax in order to make up that revenue. Because
that's huge. I mean, that's a huge deficit. If you're talking about 2/3 or $8.5 billion, and you got to replace that $8.5 billion, then there's got to be some other sources of revenue.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And the way that Amendment 5 plans to do it is to raise sales tax. Now, there's two different ways that raising sales tax can work.
Okay.
Right? So it could be raising the sales tax rate. So everything that's taxed continues to be taxed, nothing extra. we raise the rate. The state sales tax rate right now is 3%.
Yes.
And then you add local taxes on top of that
Right.
for whatever city, county, locality you're in. In order to fully make up that $8.5 billion through sales tax, just raising the rate, it would have to go from 3% to around 10.7, a little under 11%.
Okay.
So we're like tripling the state sales tax.
So you're saying that the state, if the state were to increase the sales tax,
Right.
they have to increase it to about 11% from 3%.
Yeah.
And then you'd also have to pay local tax.
Right. So
So you could be paying 16.
yeah. And that's what it is. Average across the state would be 16.
16%.
Some places are higher, some places are lower.
Right.
We're in St. Louis. It'd
Right.
be very close to 20% in the city,
Wow.
state and local taxes together, if we just increase the sales tax rate.
So if I bought a product, $100,
Mm-hmm.
at a 20%, potentially a 20% tax, I'd be paying an extra $20.
Yes, you would. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the other option, right? So we
Mhm.
could just increase the sales tax rate. You could also expand the sales tax base. So the reason that this is an amendment to the Constitution, and this isn't just something the legislature could pass, is because tax increases above a certain amount need to be voted on by the people of Missouri.
Right.
And this amendment gives kind of carte blanche to lawmakers to change the sales tax in order to make up that revenue for the income tax.
Right.
So it needs to come to a vote of the people because the amount they would need to raise is pretty high.
But that's the purpose of Amendment 5, which will be on the ballot, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, on August 4th.
Yes.
Yes.
And part of that is in the Constitution right now, only certain things can have a sales tax on them. Everything that was taxed with sales tax in 2015 can have a sales tax. Anything else can't. So that would need to be changed through this amendment to expand the sales tax base.
Okay.
And what that looks like is basically giving lawmakers the power to put a sales tax on everything, anything. Could be doctor's appointments, medications. I need to change the oil in my car. That would be taxed, hypothetically.
Yeah, right.
It could be. And so that's what expanding the sales tax base would look like. So it could be a combination of changing the rate and expanding the base to fully make up the amount that we would need for, fully eliminating the income tax.
So what you're basically saying is there potentially could be what's commonly called an everything tax.
An everything tax, exactly.
So everything tax, from your doctor's appointment to your, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Everything could be potentially taxed to make up the shortfall. I would assume a shortfall in the budget.
Right.
Because without the revenue from the, individual income tax, then you're looking at, $8.5 million potential deficit.
Right.
It's got to be made up somewhere.
Yes. Yes, it does. And when we look at where lawmakers tend to cut when we've hit deficits in the past, it is home and community-based services tend to get cuts, education tends to get cuts, disability services tend to get cuts. It's those things that tend to get cuts, so that's where we would expect to see cuts if they were to come from this.
So, elementary and secondary education potentially get cut, and or if not, hopefully not eliminated, but get cut significantly.
Right.
And senior services and child care services,
right.
pre-K child care services. So those things could potentially be impacted by the deficit in revenue coming into the state. You say those are things they tend to cut from the budget first.
Right, yeah.
And for seniors, many seniors are on fixed income. So if you put in place additional taxes, you know, as we said before, anywhere from 16 to 20%, then that's going to impact their ability to sustain, because as a senior, cost of living increase, COLA was about 2.7%. They're proposing maybe up to 3% this year. But 3% versus 20% is a big difference. It's a big difference. So I need to prepare myself, not just the community, but prepare myself.
Yeah, and when we look at, you know, I was saying it's kind of a tax swap, right? We're not just eliminating the income tax, we're raising the sales tax. When we look at what the impact of that is across the board, what we see is that the average Missourian is actually going to see a tax increase of about $500 a year.
On an annual basis?
Yes.
Okay.
And that changes based on income level, right? Because people with higher income taxes are going to see a bigger cut.
Right.
But people who are living on fixed income that don't pay income tax will only see the increase from the sales tax.
Right.
So it'll be a much significant increase for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that don't pay. I mean, seniors don't pay state income tax. I mean,
if you're on public pension, if you're on Social Security,
right?
Yeah.
They don't necessarily pay in taxes, but they will be impacted by the increase in taxes to offset the loss, the deficit that would come into play.
Right.
That would impact them significantly. There's an argument that it will increase business.
Yeah.
In the state.
There is.
And I'm not sure how that works, but
yeah.
So there is that argument. I've heard that there's that argument. I don't know.
Yeah. When you look at, honestly, if you're comparing Missouri to some of these other no income tax states, and you're looking at the business
climate.
Yeah, the business climate, the influx, the outflux. Missouri's actually doing pretty well compared to those no income tax states. So Missouri's seen, I think, an increase in the last year of around 10,000 businesses, something like that.
That's huge. That's good. That's great.
A lot of the no income tax states have seen, most of them actually have seen either less growth than that, or they've actually seen businesses leaving the state.
Okay.
I think Florida's in a net deficit for a number of businesses. Same with, I believe, Tennessee. But definitely Florida has seen more than 10,000 businesses leave the state. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of amazing to me, because when you talk about the revenue generated by sales tax, about $8.5 billion, and all, you're taking that from the budget. And like most states today, you know, I mean, they operate on a very thin line. You know, it's not like they have a ton of excess revenue on an annual basis.
Yeah.
So that it definitely tends me to believe that there's, to make up that revenue and not have a significant reduction or in services.
Yeah.
Particularly to in the areas of, like you said before, education, senior services, child care and pre-K services, then that could really have a huge impact.
Yeah. Yeah, and this bill doesn't have a lot of details.
Okay.
And so it says that lawmakers can change the sales tax in order to make up for the revenue. It doesn't say how they're going to do it at all. It doesn't say what they're going to tax. It doesn't say if they're going to do a rate increase or if they're going to do an expansion of the base. It just gives them 5 years to do so how they would like without it going to a vote of the people. And so when we look at that, that is a lot of time for schools to have to, figure out what they're going to do, for senior services to have to figure out what they're going to do it's not like a given that anything is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
including if they're going to fully raise the amount of revenue or if they're going to accept some kind of deficit and just slash services.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not something that's included. There's no revenue triggers. There's no, oh, we're once, if our revenue is stable, we'll cut more of the income tax. There's none of that that's written in the bill as it is.
Okay.
So they could, if they eliminate the income tax to a certain extent and don't have enough money for schools or don't have enough money for senior services, this does leave it open for them to make significant cuts. Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. So what's the next steps? Because, like Consumer Council of Missouri, we hope to level the playing field and improve the quality of life of consumers throughout the state of Missouri. So, and we are always concerned because of rising costs, utility rates, cost of groceries, just overall cost of living and affordability issues. So this could, Amendment 5, if approved, could potentially impact one's cost of living.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely could. And for most people, it would be an increase when we're looking at, when we're looking at folks, it would be 60 to 80% of Missourians would see some kind of
cost of living increase.
Tax increase. Right.
And affordability.
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about something. You said in a previous statement that, on average, from your study, your analysis, and that of the Missouri Budget Project, that it would impact the consumer about $500, if I'm correct, on an annual basis?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So they could be looking at increased costs or increased expenditures up to $500 or greater on an annual basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's potentially on everything. Like you were saying, it's an everything tax is what we're opening up for. If this bill does pass, you mentioned next steps. Next steps is showing up to vote in August.
August 4th. August 4th is the date. August 4th is the date. I'm not an expert in this area as you are, and you hear about other states where they don't have quote sales tax. But it's always seemed like when I've done a little research, take Illinois, for example. Illinois doesn't have, I think, personal property tax. But real estate taxes are 3 times
right
what they are
right
here. So they make up that
they
make up that difference in the personal property and in the real estate tax because they don't charge for personal property tax.
Yeah.
So what we're basically saying, or what you're basically saying, is there's got to be, we're going to give, but there's got to be a take from some other bucket.
Right. Yeah. And when we look at those other no income tax states, they have other buckets to pull from. So when we're looking at,
well, the gas tax is even very high in Illinois, because that's why so many of my friends who live in Illinois, they come across and buy their gas in Missouri.
Exactly. Yeah. And when we're looking at, like, let's look at Texas, right? I'm originally from Houston.
Oh, okay.
Houston's an oil and gas city, the
absolutely.
oil and gas city.
Yes.
Texas gets a lot of revenue from taxing oil and gas, a lot of revenue. So they don't need to rely on income tax like that because they have really high property taxes and they have oil and gas.
Oh, yeah,
and when you look at places like Florida and Tennessee, they have a lot of tourism. They've got a lot of folks coming in. You got Disney World, you've got beaches, you've got cruises out of Florida. In Tennessee, you've got Smoky Mountains, you've got Nashville. I mean, you've got a lot of people coming into the state for tourism. So you can raise a lot of revenue that way. And when you look at Missouri, we don't have oil. We're not going to suddenly find a bunch of natural resources that we haven't found yet, When you look at Branson, that's not the same kind of level of tourism that Disney is, or that the Smoky Mountains are. So we don't have those kind of other pots of money that
revenue.
we can raise revenue from.
Gotcha.
Which is why right now the income tax is making up 2/3 of our general revenue. It's what we mostly rely on. So totally getting rid of that, it's a huge change in our structure. And there's not really a plan in how we're going to change it because there's no real details in this bill.
Okay.
It's just expand sales tax.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Sarah, on behalf of Consumer Council of Missouri, I just want to take this opportunity to really thank you. But before we end, I want to tell us a little bit more about the Missouri Budget Project. I know you said it's a nonprofit organization, and I mean, even though we're talking about Amendment 5 today, because it's one of the, what I want to say, pressing things before the voters and consumers in the state of Missouri. But I mean, you guys look at everything when it comes to policy, budget, and doing analysis. I mean, just tell us a little bit more about the Missouri Budget Project, because to be honest, it's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unlike Consumer Council of Missouri, it's new to a lot of people.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. And part of that is because budget and taxes are confusing.
Right.
They're inherently a bunch of numbers. That's hard. No, but what we do is we try to bring some transparency and some accessibility to that.
Okay.
Through what we put out, through the advocacy, through talking to policymakers, talking to advocates, talking to community leaders, making sure that folks know what's going on with the budget in their areas of interest. We're in our 23rd year, Missouri Budget Project. Okay. And we did a lot of the more recent work we've done the last few years has been working on expanding Medicaid, working on the working families tax credit, and passing the circuit breaker property tax credit.
Right. Which is huge. It's huge because in my property management experience, particularly with seniors, they all would bring down that circuit breaker form for us to complete during tax time.
Yeah, because it makes a big difference in people's lives.
Right. It makes a difference in people's lives.
So we're really focused on trying to build a foundation in Missouri that can help people be able to grab the opportunities they need to thrive.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, back to Amendment 5. So that's what's topic today. Amendment 5 is a major tax overhaul. Don't forget that. It eliminates income tax and potentially could result in a deficit for the state of Missouri of about 2/3 of its general revenue. But somewhere along the line, that's got to be made up.
Yep, somewhere.
And the concern is that it could result in an everything tax.
Yep, an everything tax that
summarize it.
We feel right in our pockets.
Yep. With that, again, Sarah, I want to say thank you on behalf of Consumer Council of Missouri. It's truly been a pleasure to sit here and talk with you, talk more about the Missouri Budget Project, particularly this Amendment 5, which will be on the ballot on August 4th, correct?
Correct, yep.
So
get out and vote.
We out and vote. We hope we are able to inform and educate our viewers and the consumers in the state of Missouri with respect to Amendment 5. And with that,
thank you for having me.
else, we sincerely appreciate you being here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.